On behalf of NAB, I want to welcome you to another one of our webinars aimed at helping businesses to succeed. As the largest business bank in the country, we want to play a small role in helping business owners manage their businesses with more success and less stress. And we really hope that you enjoy and get value from this webinar today. The webinar will go for approximately 60 minutes, but if you have questions along the way, please don't hesitate to drop us a question in the Q&A box at the bottom of the webinar window, and we'll do our best to answer those questions along the way or at the very end. In a moment, I'm going to hand over to our guest presenter today, Emma Kendrick, Partner Development Manager at ReachLocal, who will guide you through the 7 secrets to getting your products found on Google Shopping. Sounds like a very, very interesting session. But before I begin, I wanted to share our contact details and encourage you to connect with us to discuss any business needs that you might have. Our number is 134708, and you can speak directly to one of our small business bankers. You can set up an appointment over the phone, over the video like this, or face-to-face at a time that's convenient for you. And we also have a dedicated small business hub on our website, so please feel free to visit that, where you find tools, guides, product information to help you through any stage of your business. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Emma Kendrick, Partner Development Manager, ReachLocal. Emma has worked in marketing for the past 12 years with a focus on digital media. She has worked with leading global brands through to micro SMEs and everything in between. Emma is an expert at digital marketing strategy, execution, analytics, and works with business owners daily to deliver results that make an impact on their business. Emma is currently Partner Development Manager for ReachLocal, where she coaches, trains, and develops their teams and partners to be world-class digital consultants. Emma, welcome.
Thanks, Beata. Hi, everyone. I'll just take a moment to share my screen. Great. So Google Shopping. We have been at ReachLocal, we've been offering our clients a managed shopping solution for just under 12 months now. And it's been a really hot topic amongst all of our consultants and product managers. A huge part of our customer base at ReachLocal is small, medium businesses, so your everyday local businesses. And primarily we are focused on lead generation for these businesses. Shopping ads has been a bit of a surprise and delight for us. It's delivered amazing results across a really large range of e-commerce industries and verticals. So today, I want to share with you what we've actually learned along the way. I would love to say that every digital media, every digital media we set live is like we know exactly what we're doing and it's going to get amazing results from the beginning. So what we want to really do is sort of share with you our secrets, the good, the bad, and the ugly of what we've learned along the way. And I think it's really important to look at what didn't work to get the best insights. I'm really pleased to be able to share these with you as part of our NAB partnership as well. But first, I'll kick off with some of the results that we've gotten from our shopping campaigns. There's my contact details should you need to contact me. So first of all, we've got a case study for alcohol and beauty products. They have an inventory of about 3,200 products. So for every $1 spent on Google Shopping, they're returning $9.50 in sales. We actually saw really instant results from this campaign. And we were actually able to really capitalize on that early growth by increasing the budgets really early on. So here we have a budget of $7,000, that return on ad spend of 9.5%. 0.5. So for every dollar in, $9.50 return. And we had some average cost per clicks of about 56 cents. So if you're familiar with Google AdWords, it's very difficult to get a decent cost per click for sort of under $1 out there these days. So you can just sort of see the difference in the media. These results also were really early data. So this was from the first $2,800 worth of spend. So again, a really good indicator that something like Google Shopping actually, can get really great results really early on. Second case studies. This was an e-commerce website that sells bicycle parts and accessories. They have about 4,400 products in their inventory. Their return on ad spend built in the first month from $1.50 to $8.30, and they're now achieving a return on ad spend of $18.50. So that's a really phenomenal return on investment, particularly when we talk about digital marketing. And often it's quite difficult to really, unless you have an e-com, it's really difficult to sort of work out the return on investment. But here, really transparent in terms of this is what I'm putting in and this is what I'm getting back. It's also important in this example, this is a fully e-commerce website, but they also have a physical location and a physical store. So it's important as well. We actually track their web form submissions and their calls that they get as a result of this campaign. So not just the shopping carts submitted and the value that goes along with that, but that's the return on ad spend is based off those definitive kind of figures. But there's also, they're getting an average of 30 phone calls a month. Maybe someone's ringing up to see whether they can come and click and collect. It might be looking at, do you have these other additional, or can you get these other additional parts in, whatever the case might be. So it's probably more realistic that their return on ad spend is actually higher than that. And then we've got another case study, really popular during COVID, edible gifts and hampers. This particular customer had an inventory of 750 products. They offered same-day delivery, really affordable shipping rates. But for them, they actually came into being a customer with us saying, look, we really need a return on ad spend of $4, or for every dollar in, $4 back to be profitable ongoing. So the early results for this campaign with about $6,000 spend was that for every dollar, they were returning $6.50. Interesting here. So click-through rate might be something that people more familiar with digital marketing might sort of say, oh, that click-through rate seems a little low of 0.7%. But what we've actually found is that that's quite normal for shopping. If you think about the journey, people are really easily able to compare a huge range of products. There can be lots and lots of providers offering a very similar sort of product. So we find that there's a lot more browsing done. So the click-through rates are lower than, say, something like Google AdWords, where we, a good click-through rate is something that we would say is maybe between sort of 4 and 8%. Another interesting thing about this is the average order value was $99. So their average number of conversions they were getting per month was about 1,700. So that makes up their total sales value of about 40 grand. So really high volume of purchases being made at that $99 mark. One thing just to, I guess, mention, all of these customers had such phenomenal results that we actually found that they experienced stock issues. So it's something to consider when you are looking at your digital strategy, and particularly something like Google Shopping, is that you need to be able to get stock fast enough. And so we actually found a number of our customers, they actually increased their budgets because they're like, great, this is awesome. But then they didn't have the back end set up where they could actually make sure that they had enough stock coming through to support the number of sales. So then they had to actually stop their campaigns for a period of time. But I guess in the scheme of things, it's a good problem to have. We won't complain about that. So what is Google Shopping and when should you consider it? So I guess in terms of the e-commerce landscape, this is probably stuff that you guys don't know now, that especially since COVID, but 33% of shopping is done online. So that's a third of all shopping is now done online, whether it be the whole shopping journey or just half. So maybe like purchasing online and click and collect. Maybe it just might be doing their research online. But 67% of people are still going to brick and mortar stores, and 19% of online shopping uses computer or tablets to shop and have products delivered. So that's like your fully online, no click and collect. I mean, even for me, it feels a bit crazy to think that the first time buying online for many Gen X and boomers was this year. Even after COVID and everything last year, Google sort of released some data to show that Gen X and boomers were still just initiating their online shopping journey this year. And obviously during the pandemic, we saw a big shift towards e-commerce. It has stabilized. So e-commerce really boosted, and now it's stabilized because people do still want those in-person experiences. They want to go to a brick and mortar store for convenience. To not wait. Delivery has been a really big issue down here in Victoria, where you were waiting over a month to get something from Kmart delivered that you kind of needed sooner than that. So that has stabilized. So don't fear if you are a business and you're thinking about, do I go fully e-com? Certainly the combination of having e-com capability and a brick and mortar store is the preference and the majority in terms of the opportunity of people shopping. But as that kind of journey has stabilized and people still want to go to brick and mortar store, the element of online shopping in Australia has certainly sort of cemented itself, and we don't see that it will be going back any further. More than 70% of people reported that their shopping journey involved online touch points. So again, a huge amount of shoppers are still going to be relying on online as well as brick and mortar. Brand loyalty. I know that's something we've talked about for years. Brand loyalty. No one's loyal anymore. With online, we have come along. Have come a long way with brand loyalty. There's reward programs. We get sent EDMs every day of any subscription that we have with offers and things to keep us loyal. But 75% of APAC shoppers are using newly discovered brands instead of familiar ones. And 56% shopped with at least one retailer this season that they've never purchased before. So I guess the point and what I wanted to talk to here was that you need to do a lot to keep people loyal to your brand. But I guess the opportunity, particularly if you're a new product in the market or a new brand in the market, or you're thinking about starting an e-commerce store and you're sort of like, this is going to be impossible. How am I going to break in? Just know that there is a huge amount of people that are open to trying something new. We also found that, especially during the lead up to Christmas, people are willing to try something new if they can't get what they want. And also people are really, we've missed each other. We haven't bought gifts. We maybe didn't have, see each other for Christmas and stuff last year. So people also don't want to be boring, and they want unique gifts that they're not at risk of them already having, and sort of something cool and interesting. So people are really open to buying from new brands. So don't fret if you think that, there's so much competition out there. It's actually quite easy to break through when it comes to e-commerce. There's never been a better time to get your product in front of new people. Another really great thing about Google Shopping is that the cost per clicks, or CPCs, are 30% cheaper than AdWords, and there are free listings. The 30% cheaper than AdWords is actually a stat that comes from Google. That's their general rule of thumb. So, thinking about it, Google Shopping is still relatively new. Google always wants to entice people to use their new products, and they want to really lower the barriers for as many advertisers as possible to get on and start using their products. Google's also known to reward businesses who adopt their products and use them regularly. So this having some free listings and having some cheaper cost per clicks is really rewarding businesses to get onto their new stuff. So if there was ever a great time to try a Google product, it's when it's first coming out. There's less competition. And Google will reward you for that. And another really great example of that is Google My Business. So if you've been following the webinar series, we did a session on Google My Business, and that's a free listing that Google can actually get your brick and mortar store or your e-commerce store in front of people who are actively searching, and you don't need to pay for those clicks. Also, shopping ads are still relatively new, so I've sort of mentioned that. Over time, we expect that the cost per clicks will go up, but if you want to get in, dip your toe in the water with a lot lower level of risk with the cheaper cost per clicks, then now's a really great time. So we're probably at the point where you're like, what is Google Shopping? So Google Shopping is a Google service that allows consumers to search for, compare, and shop for physical products across different retailers who have a fully e-commerce store. It consists of these images here, your product descriptions, price, and the store. And then on the left-hand side here, you can see all of the different filters that you can use. So you can filter by price, you can put a price range. It will break it out into different categories or for specific uses, whether it has free delivery. So you can see it's a really easy comparison tool for shoppers. And then it's made up of your paid listings. So on the front page of Google, someone's typed in lamps Melbourne. Up the top, if it is a highly sort of a high volume e-commerce product, then shopping might appear up the top. Then shopping can also appear in your images tab and also on the dedicated shopping tab. So that's where your real shoppers are going to straight to the shopping tab, and it will be a whole front page of listings. Shopping ads also appear on search partner websites. So you can see, you might be reading like a news article and you'll see some relevant things that you might have been in the market for buying some lamps, and all of a sudden there's all these little pictures of lamps that are for sale. And Google Display Network as well. So you might even see these shopping listings appear on YouTube, within Gmail, and on Google Discover. And then you've got your free listings. So free listings appear in the Google search, shopping and images tab, but it is up to Google's discretion. And we're just saying that we've only seen free listings in this shopping tab. But that's what Google says. Maybe that will change. Maybe we've just been really unlucky. But hopefully in the future, they will have a wider spread of free listings. And also something to know, if you are looking at running your own Google Shopping campaign, we see absolutely no disadvantage of running the free listings, and we always have them on. So don't be frightened. Sometimes you can get value for free. So a little bit more technical now. Just wanted to talk about how shopping actually works. So you have your website. Your website is linked to Merchant Center, where you create an automatic feed. You can create a manual feed, but you'll find that even if you have only sort of 10 products, with the changes to pricing or promotions, with your descriptions and everything, it can actually become quite laborsome, quite time consuming to do that manually. And it's certainly, we recommend having an automatic feed set up. That comes with its limitations, and we'll talk about some of that. Google Merchant Center, so that the Merchant Center is where your product feed lives, which then talks to Google Shopping and allows your ads to appear. So the Merchant Center will help dictate your descriptions and your titles, which then allows, which funnels into what your listing will show. And likewise, these will go into paid and free listings the same. So in a little bit more detail, you might be familiar with some of these these sort of e-commerce platforms. WooCommerce is a big one, Magento, BigCommerce. So your shopping cart solution is linked to Google Merchant Center. That then talks to Google Ads, pulls your details and descriptions through, and then you can see the listings, how that sort of filters through. Now, it's all well and good to talk about how things work, but with anything digital, with any strategy that you look at doing, you need to think about your customer's journey. So we've used this example with baby formula. So someone searches the product, and usually, you know, when someone's looking for a product, they might search quite broad, but they also might be looking for something quite specific. So in this case, they're looking for a whey dominant baby formula. Google matches the products Google matches the search to the products based on title descriptions and product categories. So you can see this person's typed whey dominant baby formula, and then you can see here this listing clearly is a whey dominant toddler formula. So, sorry, I will just go back. So I think the point here as well is making sure that your descriptions and your titles speak to the way that people search. If you have a product, I'll give you another example of someone that I'm working with at the moment who sells baby clothes, but obviously super competitive industry. And we started out with things like baby clothes, toddler clothes, but her real, I guess, her real USP in the market was that she had sustainably sourced cotton and organic materials that are purchased, they're low volume. So that's going to appeal to a particular audience, particularly if those products are slightly more expensive as well. You don't want to be competing with mass volume Kmart or whatever it is. So what we actually found is that having baby and toddler clothing actually didn't speak to that customer journey. So then we've gone through and actually looked at ways to include that organic cotton, bamboo, 100% sustainable actually in the titles. And we've seen an improvement from that. So when should you consider shopping? You have to have an e-commerce website. So it has to have full shopping cart functionality. But if you already have one, and if it's Shopify or WooCommerce, I'd say you can get into Google Shopping today. Your product is in demand. So you do need to sell products that are in demand and consumers are willing to buy. It's kind of obvious, but really for Google Shopping to be effective, there needs to be volume. So I know, even though I talked about, you know, the sustainable clothing, that's a little bit more niche, there still actually is a really big volume for those type of products. So our best performing campaigns are really want-based. So you're more nice to have. I know that consumer electronics and different things like gifts that really appeal to more of our emotional side tend to do really, really well on Google Shopping. If you have a range of products within a category, we find that those campaigns work better. So if you have a really large inventory or you have lots of products within a category, so your bicycle shop, for example, they sell bicycles, so that they might get someone in on a bike, but then they've got all of the other products to support it. So what we find is you get someone in on one product, but they will add multiple products to their shopping cart, usually because delivery and stuff's involved. So they want to like get the most amount of value for that purchase. So then you're able to upsell the helmet, the drink bottle, the holder, the fluffy things that come off the side of the handlebars, whatever it might be. So we do find that if you only have a couple of products, you're limited in, I guess, the volume of the shopping cart and the number of products that you can sell during a purchase transaction. And we tend to see that doesn't work as well. Again, that emotional side, products that get people excited, that they don't necessarily need to buy. So anything from sort of $20 to $200 we find is a really good sweet spot for Google Shopping based on volumes and cost per click. And then the run rate or the how fast people sort of purchase in that price bracket. It's a shorter buying journey, and it's a lot easier for people to make a purchase in that price range. You start getting higher than that, and then we sort of find that like your bounce rates and the evaluation part of the buying journey is a lot longer, so you're likely to lose people during that to competitors. Okay, I'll go to the next one. So what do we find works really well? So I'll go into a little bit more detail, but these are the main sort of categories. So home products, think decor, kitchen, cooking, storage, arts and craft. You've got furniture and outdoor, barbecues, decor, gardening supplies, anything online, nursery, especially during COVID, went ballistic, lighting, tools, seeds, media, so online books, puzzles, outdoor game sets, health and beauty, protein shakes, essential oils, dehumidifiers, skincare, fitness devices, and clothing. Anything toys and baby, my goodness, the market out there is huge and gets their emotional side a lot of the time. Cribs, playmats, baby showers, presents, prams, basically everything. Pet products. We find, just be careful with pet products, not the market for like your pet food and stuff is quite saturated, and because the big players buy in bulk, they offer huge discounts and really great shipping, often same day free. So we find that with pet products, it's better to go down the specialty route. There's still really big volumes for it, but you know, collars and harnesses, specialty toys, specialty beds, hobby stores, bike shops and equipment, music stores, golf, sporting goods. So I just want to take a moment to get you guys thinking back. I know we're sort of into December now, but what retail categories in Australia do you think had the most search growth in the month of October? So feel free to pop it in the chat. So we're thinking about the types of goods online that had a really big spike in October. So I can see a couple coming through. Christmas gifts, yes, they definitely would be starting to spike. Beach towels, yes, I know the Tessellate and the likes of those guys have been doing a lot. Great stocking filler. Okay, so I'll reveal what it actually was. Costume and stage makeup up 300%. Costume special effects, costumes, party decorations. So that huge spike is due to Halloween, was at the end of October. Still, I guess Australia is still adopting the holiday, and it's definitely getting more and more popular. Where a couple of things on this list, though, I felt were a bit surprising for me. Not evaporative coolers. Evaporative coolers, the weather started warming up, and this is Australia-wide. Cricket bats, I thought was interesting, but then thinking about it, in October, I know in Victoria, the one thing that we were allowed to do if we were vaccinated before everyone else was actually go and have a picnic with our friends. Also coming into the summer, you know, coming into cricket season. So that was a standout there. I also was confused about masks because we were just coming out of our lockdowns, you know, the peak of things in Victoria, especially sort of, I would have thought everyone had their masks. When I looked deeper into this was actually Halloween masks, and it certainly wasn't medical masks. Gotten this straight from Shopify. So Shopify is a great source of, you know, e-commerce knowledge. They're one of the biggest players. These are some of the products that they have predicted to be trending in 2022. So if you're considering starting an e-com, some of these are interesting. Eyebrow enhancers, but there is a market for everything. But here's some examples of, you know, more specifically areas of growth that they see. Quick note on unsupported shopping content. Again, if you haven't done any Google Shopping or you're thinking about it, or maybe even looking at what products to host on your site, you can't do anything that doesn't ship or isn't a physical product. So no tickets, no subscriptions, you can't do motorized vehicles, real estate, any property that can't be moved, gift cards, you can't do services, no currency, including Bitcoin and gold, and no financial products. Another quick thing that we will share with you as well, if you are looking at maybe through Google Shopping or through your e-com doing Mother's Day or Christmas hampers, or where maybe you package up your gift or package up your product in a gift that contained alcohol, you need to be really careful with that, because Google actually, you need, like, there's liquor licensing, and there needs to be a specific policy on your website. And if you don't have that, they will actually ban your ads. So quick little trick that we definitely learned, caught us out. So the actual secrets. The first one is use, flick too fast, is to use the right website platform from the start. So you need a site that loads in 3 seconds. It's a really non-negotiable. Too many people, particularly on mobile, will bounce out if it doesn't load. The site really needs to be built on the latest e-commerce platform, which allows Google Merchant Center to be integrated. So your WooCommerce and your Shopify are our 2 big picks. Shopify allows really easy upload of products to Google Shopping and things like Facebook Marketplace. So you're minimizing the amount of work that you need to do. I'll also make mention to BigCommerce, Magento 2, Ecwid, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, Shopify or WordPress with WooCommerce. But really Shopify is our top pick. And the main reason for that is they're so big. They have the money for constant investment so that they can make their customers, which are you, the e-commerce retailers, make their lives easier. They have the latest and greatest technology. The plugins are really seamless. You know, what we find is a lot of people will reverse engineer it. They'll go, well, I have this stock system, so I'm going to find a web developer to build me what I need. And then it doesn't fit in with the customer journey. It doesn't actually fit into the platforms where people are buying. They become super buggy, super expensive to update, and often it really ends up costing a lot more money. I totally get it though. You know, you've got stock systems and stuff, and that software alone can be quite expensive to overhaul. But, you know, I think that sometimes people hang on to their old stock systems of 10, 15, 20 years plus, and it's just not gonna be usable moving forward. Shopify also connects to a lot of third-party integrations that save you time and money. So shipping calculators, there's plugins where an order comes through on your website, it will download a print label, you stick it on, or your warehouse sticks it on, and your courier is already booked and ready to go. So, you know, things like that are going to save you a lot of time and money, particularly as you ramp up as well. The second secret is to offer add-ons that benefit your buyers. Again, not thinking about your end of things, think about your buyers. So our top picks are the Shop app within Shopify. Users can shop and track delivery from your store fast and intuitively. It creates a really great customer experience. It also encourages repeat purchases and saves sales that you might have lost otherwise. So people want the convenience. They want to know when they want to be able to track their deliveries. You can integrate rewards and loyalty apps such as Smile that allow people to use coupons, discount codes. They expect it, particularly if you want to keep that brand loyalty we talked about. You know, people really expect to be given extra offers if they are a customer. Automate your review processes and use third-party reviews such as Trustpilot and Google Merchant Center reviews. Customer reviews are still going to be really, really important. It's that social proof. And in an environment where you can't try before you buy, seeing other shoppers, having good experiences and being really happy with their products is like the best you're going to get. Shipping Easy is another app that offers discounted USPS and UPS shipping rates, prints labels, DHL, FedEx, all those sort of couriers have Shopify apps that can integrate shopping calculators into your site and can automatically book the courier, which I talked about. Also, privacy return and refund policies need to be easily found and very clear. If a user is uncertain about whether they can return an item and how much it will cost, they can bounce out of the cart. And don't forget to include things like Christmas and Mother's Day and big event cutoff dates for shipping. So one thing I do hear people sort of say, oh, Google Shopping, are they just wanting the cheapest price? You know, they can compare so easy. They're just comparing us on price. It does make it very easy for people to compare on price. However, people will forgo price for better shipping times and rates, different features, and also other items that they can buy from your store. So that can often be a real differentiator. If they're going to pay some shipping or they're going to wait for the product, if they can get some other things they need while they're there, they're more likely to buy from you, and they may forgo a couple of dollars or even more significant dollar amount, up to $15 if that's what the shipping is going to cost. There are a number of personal biases that will affect which listing a buyer will purchase from. A really interesting one that we worked out is that the images is a really big factor. So there can be a product that has the same color, material, features, sizing, but looks visually different just because it's a better image or more lifestyle image. And basically the image just looks nicer. So the image allows people to quickly compare products and only click the ones that they visually like. So we actually found that having more visually appealing images, regardless of price and shipping and all that sort of stuff, increases the propensity of someone to buy. The third secret for Google Shopping is use technology. So there's different technology out there. It allows quick adjustments on product features. Descriptions can be changed in bulk to include key phrases, USPs, and call to action. Some technology allows you to even change these descriptions without you having to change your website description. So there's sort of one thing to get in front of the right people and have your ad look good on Google Shopping, but that might not resonate onto your website, and you may not want to have the same. So there's technology that actually allows you to have different descriptions and titles between your website and your feed. It allows you to change categories in the background. You can optimize your titles and descriptions. It automates the process to manage any disapprovals. So disapprovals is something that can happen quite a bit within shopping for various reasons. But again, technology will allow you to actually fix those changes without updating your website, and it will manually handle that review process with Google. And then any, optimization technology. So technology that allows you to spend more money on products that perform over time to increase not only, and it depends on your goals. You might just want the most amount of purchases, so shopping cart submits, or your goal might actually be to increase the value of the shopping cart. So then you need to be able to optimize towards different things there. This gets a little bit technical, but with your title and description manipulation, products match much better to end of funnel searches, so that those really, keyword rich, specific kind of products. So again, we talked about the way dominant, toddler, 1 to 3 years. It's not just baby formula. It's not just formula. It's very, very specific. Make sure in your title and descriptions that you clearly have your product listing and your USP. So again, the baby clothing that I talked about, you know, we learned that we really need to have the 100% organic cotton, you know, sustainable, etc. Another secret is choosing publishers based on a range of objectives. So when we talk about digital strategy, there's sort of the three main components of any digital strategy is what do you want the audience to do? What's the objective? How do we get in front of those people, which is the targeting? And then what are we going to say to them and how, which is your creative. So I've created a little bit of a funnel here. Marketers love funnels. Funnels are getting old, but it's visually, it helps us just sort of look at, you know, based on the objective, you know, what products or what media should you really be looking at? And it really comes down to, you know, what your product is. So if you have a product that people don't know about and you need to raise awareness to start with, then you're going to have to do some level of brand awareness to create demand or some demand generation. So that's where these top part of the funnel, your social media, your YouTube and Google Display Network are really visual. They're great ways of kind of getting in front of the masses. They give you, with video, there's an opportunity to really do explainers and things like that. As we come down the funnel, and this is really, I wanted to show you where Google Shopping fits in. Google Shopping only really fits in with customer acquisition. You want to be driving sales, targeting users with high buying intent. So it sort of speaks back to the fact that if you have a product that there's not a lot of volume for or that people don't need, then Google Shopping is not going to be the place to do it. You're going to have to appeal more to their emotive side, and you're going to probably have to look further up this funnel here on your social medias and your YouTube and your Google Display. Again, Google Ads and Google Shopping are very similar. I would argue, I'd probably say that Google Shopping is going to get you a better return on ad spend for an e-commerce site, whereas Google Ads works very, very well for your services and your storefronts. And then don't forget retargeting. If you're spending any money getting people to your website, whether you're doing SEO, whether you're doing paid ads on Facebook or Google, you should always have some retargeting, because the reality is that 10 to 20%, sometimes less, of your customers are not going to convert on click. And if you lose them and you don't track them around after that, it's just a wasted opportunity. And as we move towards the future of first-party data, having your own cookies is going to be really, really important. Also, know where your competition is. Little shout out to Google Analytics here. Google Analytics, you must get it on your site. If you're going to do an e-com, I'm floored at the amount of e-com sites that don't have analytics and don't even have their enhanced analytics set up. It's like, how do you even know what you're doing and where you're getting your sales from? And there's a report in here that can actually tell you what your competition is. So know your competition as well. Some of your competition might actually be platforms that you can easily list your products, such as eBay and Etsy. So just, think outside the box. We also really love Bing at ReachLocal, or well, I shouldn't say Bing, it's now Microsoft Ads. Everyone thinks Google, and this is a Google Shopping sort of focused webinar, but Bing is fantastic at targeting particular audiences. There's not as much competition. You can get some really great wins on Bing in terms of AdWords. So, but Amazon and eBay and other store aggregators as well. So don't think that you have to do it all yourself. Look at some of these other places and look at whether it's viable to have listings on there as well. Choose publishers and creatives that support the customer journey. So again, always take it back to the customer journey. Google talks about the messy middle, which is the new consumer buying funnel. It's not linear. People go in and out of exploration, evaluation, get close to making a purchase, and then maybe something doesn't line up for them, like the delivery or the shipping cost or the price, whatever it might be. And sometimes they go all the way back to needing to have the exposure to get them back in to want to buy that product again. So it's very, very messy. But here's an example, which I've created in a linear kind of format, just so that it's easier to digest. And it really speaks to retargeting. So if you've got your Facebook ads or your Google ads, they come through to your website, they might add to cart, and they might complete their order. But if they add to cart and then leave, you want to create a funnel for abandoned carts. So anyone that abandons cart, you can then remarket to them super easily on Facebook using Facebook remarketing pixels. Then you can offer them a promotion. So I've got customers that automatically, anyone that abandons cart gets a 10% off discount code to try and get them to convert. You might then get them back through to a landing page with additional promotions. Maybe if they give their email address to sign up for the mailing list, then there's value in that. Make sure you get something out of every website visitor. Then they add to cart and then they complete their order. So that's a really simple, I guess, buying journey, but understand that they might not be on Facebook. So you want to have your remarketing on Instagram and Facebook. You want to have some remarketing on a display network so that you're capturing people no matter where they are on the internet. So here's a couple of extended case studies that I wanted to share just around that complete sort of buying funnel. And this is a lot to digest. I'm not going to go through it all, but the real takeout here is that when they did Google shopping, they spent $6,000 per cycle. Their return on ad spend was $4.20 for every dollar in. They added a $2,000 Facebook campaign that included retargeting. Their return on ad spend grew to $6.50. Before all of this, the return on ad spend averaged $1.25 from November to Feb before turning on the product ads as well. So it just goes to show that the more sort of products and the more of that buying funnel that you cover, it's going to actually improve your return on ad spend. So you might be spending more money, but it's going to improve that overall return. A really great example here with the gift hampers as well. They ran Google shopping to start with, return on ad spend of $6.30. Facebook alone got a return on ad spend of $4, and search got a return on ad spend of $6.16. So we looked at these separately, and someone might say from this, well, look, if Facebook's getting, only the $4 return on ad spend, maybe it's not worth doing, but you can expect to see 30% higher conversion values when running them together. So you take that out, you lose that $4 return on ad spend, but you'll see these return on ad spends go down as well. And I'll just quickly fly through the next couple because I know we're almost out of time, but it's really important for you guys to understand where your sales are coming from. So in Google Analytics, again, there is this MCF channel grouping. Make sure that you're looking at this. Every publisher in their own reporting will say, I made you the sale, I made you the sale, because they want you to spend more money with them. But this is going to be your holistic kind of sort of source of truth as to where your sales are coming from. And you want to look at your assisted conversions, because the reality is that only a small percentage of people are going to convert on click. This again is what that can look like. So here you can see which funnels actually deliver the most amount of sales. And you can see that there's lots of different funnels, including all different organic search, paid search, there'll be social media, all different types of things that create large volumes of your purchases. And then knowing what good looks like. So I really hope today that I've been able to share with you guys some data and some stats across a range of industries so you can start to get a feel for how these campaigns should perform. Obviously, you can look at benchmarks. WordStream's a really great resource for benchmarking, and so is the Shopify blog. So you can access vertical trends and things like that. I won't go into smart shopping today. But here again, this is just a running sort of performance table of 30 days worth of data across a few different industries that we have. We all have really great sentiment with our customers, and we've got, the spend, the value of their sales, and some of the return on ad spends that they're getting for different verticals. So hopefully, if you do have an e-commerce in one of these verticals, it can give you either something to sort of aim towards, or it might actually highlight to you a really great opportunity if you're not doing Google ads, Google shopping, and to sort of benchmark yourself so you know what's possible. But just keep in mind, there's no hard and fast rule with return on ad spend. There's going to be so many factors that are going to influence it, including your inventory levels, how many products you have, what you're spending, the product mix, have you got your retargeting and things like that. So just keep all of that in mind. But yeah, guys, hopefully you found some really, some basic tips. And also for those of you that are a little bit more tenured in your digital journey, we included some advanced stuff in there so that you can get some value out of this session today. Thanks for having me. I think I'll send back to Beata.
Emma, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us today. 7 secrets of getting your products found on Google Shopping. I can probably speak certainly for myself. We've all learned something to take away here. And we trust everyone here on this webinar got some valuable information from this session today, and some practical tips to support your business. This is part of a series of webinars that we've been doing to help our customers succeed. And if you'd like to revisit any previous webinars or register for any upcoming webinars, please visit us at nap.com.au/business webinars. And as a little reminder, if you'd like to connect with any of our small business bankers, please don't hesitate to call us. Our number is 134708. And you can speak directly to someone to set up an appointment at a time that's convenient. And finally, if you like what you saw today, please let us know. There'll be a survey when you close out of the webinar, and we would appreciate any and all feedback. And please feel free to share this content with your network so they can also benefit. On behalf of all of us, we wish you, your business, your family the very best, and look forward to seeing you at future webinars. Thank you so much and take care.